of Team USA won medals in nearly every event, including this gold medal as a new all-around champion was crowned. Now the next Olympics are only 2 years away, and the road to Paris goes through Salt Lake City this week, where a world medalist is aiming for more hardware. And another contender looks to stake her claim as one to watch during this Olympic quad. NBC Sports presents the 2022 U.S. Classic. Hello everyone, I'm John Roethlisberger here at the Maverick Center in Salt Lake City for the senior round of this U.S. Classic, and I'm honored to say I'm joined for the first time as an analyst, Laurie Hernandez, Olympic champion. Laurie, great to be here with you.
Same here.
Let's talk about tonight's session, the senior session. What can we expect in this competition?
Yeah, so for classics in comparison to national championships, we could look at it as the quiz before the test. We're going to see a lot of new skills being thrown here that you might not see at championships, so you're definitely going to want to keep your eyes peeled.
And speaking of new skills, it was a year ago, 2021, that Olympic champion Simone Biles competed this element right here.
Yurchenko double pike, just with a few hops backwards, meaning she still has more power even after all of that.
And we talked that I could probably put you on my shoulders and she would go right over the top of us. Probably the most difficult single element in gymnastics, in women's gymnastics. I will note that Simone Biles not competing here tonight. She is still in the retired mode. We'll talk about that later. But we do have some great athletes to watch. In your opinion, who are two that you're looking for?
Our first person we're looking at is Leanne Wong. She won silver in the all-around in 2021's World Championships, and she would like to go again this year and get that all-around gold. Told me once she wants to sweep more medals too, and I think she can definitely do that. Our next athlete being Shilese Jones, good friend of mine. I truly believe she's an easy contender for Worlds this year. And same thing, told me herself, she wants that all-around title, and I think she's got it in her. She is a powerhouse, so look out for her tonight.
And she has come in focused and looks ready to go, and we talked about how great we think she could do at the World Championships. You will see that. And here is the list of competitors. The first starting group will be on vault, the other group on the uneven bars. And again, we talked about how this is a rehearsal for some of them trying some new skills. There's a couple in there, and we'll talk throughout the competition that might need to get a score to be at those U.S. championships. But it's going to be a fun competition. We're going to see a lot of great gymnastics.
Most athletes are also qualified to nationals already. There's a very, I'd say about the majority is already qualified. So the routines that we're going to see today, a lot of them are brushing up on new skills.
And how valuable is that as you head into a U.S. Championships that has everything at stake to make a world team, to catapult you into the next 2 seasons going into the Olympics? How important is it to be able to come on the podium on a big stage and do some of those new big routines?
You know, in women's artistic gymnastics, especially elite gymnastics, we don't get very many competitions to begin with throughout the year. So the fact that we have an opportunity like Classics to debut new skills, I think this is a great opportunity for all the athletes here, not just the ones that I mentioned earlier.
So scoring in gymnastics, it's a complicated element, but we're going to try to break it down for you. Part of the score comes from difficulty. In women's gymnastics, they have the value of the 8 most difficult skills. Each skill has a value. They add the value of those 8 skills together. That is their difficulty score. They take that and they add it to the execution score, which starts at a perfect 10. Out of that perfect 10 come the deductions, the form breaks, the steps on the landing. Whatever is left from that 10, plus their D score, their difficulty score, is put together for the gymnast's final score. Take a deep breath and soak that one in, because it is complicated, but we'll try to keep you abreast during today's competition. Here's Nola Matthews starting out on vault.
Simple Yurchenko full, few hops, and she had a bit of a leg separation in the air, so I do believe they're going to take a few tenths for that. But overall, strong start. And in testament to what you mentioned earlier with those, our scores, you're going to see a lot of different start values out there. So keep an eye out on that fluctuation.
The vault start values have been lowered from last year. That's typical after an Olympic year to readjust the code of points, make it a little bit more difficult for the athletes. This vault right here, the Yurchenko laid out full, starts at a 14.2. If she did it perfect, that is the score she would get. As we know, the judges will never give you that perfect execution score. Leanne Wong starting her competition on the vault. What to look for on this event, Lori?
So we see it here on the screen, but to elaborate a bit more, we have height. So that block that you see when they pop off the table, we want to see them go as high as they possibly can. Altitude, distance, body position. If the athlete pikes her hips, especially doing a laid out vault, she's going to get a huge deduction for that. And of course, the landing, staying in bounds and hopefully sticking. Beautiful Yurchenko double full for Leanne Wong.
Big air. You mentioned the big air, and she has got some big air on that vault. Wow.
What a way to start the competition.
That one starts at a 15.0. Another look.
Some barely minute leg separation, but I would be very proud of that vault if I was her.
Yeah, a little bit of crossed feet, that small hop. If you are on that line, that outer line, you are still in. You have to go over the line to get a deduction. 1 foot over is a 1/10, 2 feet over is 3/10. She was good to go there. Her score for that first vault out of a 15, she gets a 14.4. One thing that Leanne has upgraded is she is now working 2 vaults, something that Team USA needs in their lineup.
2 vaults is quite uncommon. We'll see a small handful of athletes be able to do that at Classics this year.
Gives the athlete an opportunity to be in event finals is where it's valuable. Beautiful new vault.
She's smiling after that. I think she's quite proud of those, and I would be too.
That is the Cheng style vault. So she does Yurchenko half onto the table. Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't notice her hand there.
That was right on the edge of that vault table. Leanne Wong handles it, does land outside the line, but great job for Leanne. One of the other favorites today, Shilese Jones, coming up. 16-year-old Jocelyn Robertson from Northeast Texas Elite Gymnastics. The next gymnast to go here on the vault.
Another powerhouse we should definitely keep our eyes on. I was watching her in warm-ups, and I was consistently surprised by how strong she is. Wow. Got wise from both of us.
The distance on that vault, outstanding. Vault and event, Team USA has always been so strong on, but ironically coming into this last 2 years before the Olympics, an event that, you know, they need a little more power in.
It was a tiny bit low from the table, but the distance that she has from there, definitely. She spots the landing. She took, I'd say, about a 3 to 4/10 deduction on that landing.
Common deductions, Lori, that the judges are looking at this event.
So we have, it says here small landing, step or hop. We compare that to shoulder width. So large would be wider than the shoulder of a step. We have bent arms on the table. The reason for that, it also messes with the height. So if you see a gymnast go and vault and she's got those tight arms, chances are she's gonna go very high. Also out of bounds, as John mentioned earlier, as long as you are within those 3 lines, you're good to go. As soon as you step outside of them, that's where they get you.
She, like Leanne Wong, is doing 2 vaults, got a 14.0 on a 15.2 start value for vault number 1.
That's a great execution score. 8.8.
Anytime you can get close to a 9 or above on vault, that is outstanding. Same vault we saw from Leanne Wong on her opening vault, the Yurchenko double twist. Little trouble in the landing.
A bit of a stumble out, yeah. But again, she's got a lot of power in her, and I'm really excited to see what she does for floor.
During this week of training prior to this competition, Shilese Jones looked like she was in a zone. And by watching her at this weekend's competition, you wouldn't know how tough of a year that she has had. Last December, she lost her father, who she was extremely close to. There he is right there. After the trials last year, she was going to move on to college, was going to put the elite career behind her, but her dad convinced her to keep training and keep that Olympic dream alive. And she said he is with her every day. And this is a tattoo on the back of her right shoulder. Your name echoes in my heartbeat. And she said, Lori, that he is part of her journey and she is here because of him. And it's really an amazing story.
Yeah, when we last spoke with her, she said every motivation, every good push that she has in the gym comes from her dad. And he's with her everywhere she goes. She talks to him every night. He's the reason why she keeps going for Paris. And everything outside of that. Monster Yurchenko double full. Bit of a stumble on the landing.
Yeah, a few too many steps coming out of that, but beautiful in the air. We'll get one more look at that.
Thanks.
A half twist, a 2.5 twist for her on that seems almost academic. It's right there, right?
It definitely seems tangible. How tight she is coming into the horse right there. It's like dropping a pencil on hard ground, eraser head first. It's gonna bounce because of how tight it is.
And the form in the air, that's so important. The judges see that. Maybe a 10th split in the legs coming onto the table if you really want to be picky, but not too many people in the world capable of doing a Yurchenko double full quite like that. I love the confidence that she has, and it's not an arrogance when you talk to her. It's just a belief, and you can't help but get on board with her and her journey and cheering her on. You got to think great things are in her future.
She radiates motivation, confidence, excitement for what's to come, especially about Worlds this year. And her eyes forward towards Paris. I mean, we watched her practice yesterday, and both of us, our eyes were pretty wide. She is fantastic.
The head coach of the Florida Gators, Jenny Rowland, has got to be happy that she is going to have Shilese Jones on that team, but you're going to have to wait, Jenny. You're going to have to wait till after 2024 because there's some unfinished business for this athlete. Very, very excited to watch her over the next couple of years.
Shai mentioned Gabby Douglas and Jordan Weber were and are her inspirations in and out of the gym. So that's always exciting. You see athletes come up and they mention their inspirations and then they become one themselves.
Shilese Jones gets the same score that Leanne Wong got for that vault, a 14.4. Both of those athletes are scheduled to do the all-around here today, so nice little battle we have to go between those two. Earlier in this competition, Addison Fava started out on the uneven bars, 17 years old, out of Wrightsville, PA, and here is her performance there.
Kicking things off with Pike Yeager. She caught a little too close to the bar. Toe full over. On these handstands, you want toes to the ceiling. If it's over, they're going to get deducted for that.
A lot of gymnastics in this routine.
Beautiful double layout dismount.
And that is her dad, Tony, her coach. 13.15 the total there, 7.65 execution. We mentioned around a 9.0 on vault being a great execution score. On bars, you can shift that down about a point, right?
Yes, absolutely.
If you get an 8, you're doing something special.
Bit of a leg separation.
And this is Levi Young Levivar from Twin City Twisters up in Minnesota.
Her toe point reminds me a lot of Nastia Liukin's. Her form is gorgeous.
Good reach.
Oh, looks like she missed that. Her feet on the bar on that first toe full. Here comes her dismount. I saw a couple form breaks in there. I wouldn't be surprised if the judges really hammered in on that. We'll check out her execution score and see how much they were able to find.
Levi recently moved from Los Angeles to train at Twin City Twisters up in Minnesota. Quite the climate change for her to go from LA to the frozen tundra.
Overall, that's a hit routine, and that is definitely something to be proud of.
Levi will move on to the balance beam for her next rotation, and that will be rotation 2 when we come back. Standings after the first rotation. Laura, you teased both of these athletes. Leanne Wong, Shilese Jones after vault, deadlocked at 14.4. And after outstanding vault of her own, Jocelyn Robertson, a 14.0. So the Olympic team selection process now a little bit different than it was when we look back in Tokyo. Actually, 5 members of the team now as opposed to 4 that we saw in Tokyo. Paris, you will have 5. 3 apparatus in the team finals go up on each event. All 3 of those scores will count towards the team total. That will be high pressure. Speaking of the Tokyo team, where are they and what are they doing today? Well, Simone Biles, she just continues to get medals. And this one, dare I say, maybe the biggest one of them all, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She was awarded that by President Biden earlier this year. What an honor for her. How about the new Olympic champion, Suni Lee? She might not be done. She said she's not going to compete this year, but she says 2023, as of right now, she wants to make a comeback. She's busy in the gym. She's got the new beam mount. Always exciting, always coming up with new stuff. We'll keep an eye out for her. She competed in college at Auburn this year. She won an NCAA title there on the balance beam and finished second all around. What a year she had for the Auburn Tigers. The best season in Auburn Tiger history, and a lot of it is because of that athlete right there. Jordan Childs, she is at UCLA, also had an outstanding year as an individual collegiately. She wants to come back, and she's training Jake Carey, same boat. She wants to return. Had an unbelievable year at Oregon State, and she seems to have picked up right where she left off. Grace McCallum, University of Utah, she competed just right down the road from where we are right now. She has no plans as of yet that we know of to make a return, and Michaela Skinner also has announced her retirement earlier this year. She seems to be done, but she's also a Utah Ute. Lori, the one that everyone's talking about, the Simone Biles, could she come back? Do you think she will?
Honestly, I have no idea, but if she wants to come back, even if mid-next year she said, you know what, I think I'm going to do it, she absolutely could. There is nothing stopping her.
I'm going to be a little more bold. I'm going to say she absolutely is going to come back. And the biggest reason is because she can.
Yeah.
And she's got the ability, and we see a lot of athletes, and you try to come back, you know how hard it is.
Yes.
But she's something special, and I just think it'll be too much to resist. Go to Paris. I think we're going to see her there. This competition, as we mentioned, is leading to the USA Gymnastics Championships. Don't miss it. August 20th and 21st on the NBC family of networks. That will be the road to the World Championships coming up this fall. At the Maverick Center as we begin rotation number 2. What to look for on the balance beam, and I know there's a lot, Lori, but give us the quick
So
version.
naturally, of course, we are looking for no wobbles on this 4-inch apparatus. We're looking for connected skills. We're also going to be hammering down on artistry within this quad. So things like rhythm, posture, shifting, and fidgeting a lot before skills, any break in rhythm. And we'll be able to point that out as routines go forwards. But that is something that's going to be very important between beam and floor.
Brooke started this competition on the uneven bars, obviously 13.35 there.
Starting off with a solid side aerial. That was beautiful. Something you can always look out for is in a gymnast's ankles. If their ankles are wobbling a lot, it's usually a testament to how nervous they are. But she seems solid as a rock.
Coming up next on the uneven bars for Great America,
Noticing a little bit of fidgeting in between skills. The judges are going to take a few tenths off for that. Comes her dismount. She finishes with a nice 2.5. Overall, I'd say that was a pretty clean routine.
Very nice finish, 2.5 twist dismount. Got to make that 2.5 twist all the way around, something the judges look for if you're even short a little, which I think is a brutal rule, but if you're short even a little, they give you the next lowest value skill, so it would be a double twist, but she looks to have gotten that one around.
That back leg seems a bit loose. We want to see straight legs, pointed toes all the way through. Here's the wobble, which unfortunately breaks that connection, so it won't count. And let's see her feet. I think they were all the way around.
I'm giving it to her.
I'm giving it to her, too.
Take it to the bank. Brooke, the youngster of this senior competition, just 15 years old. She won't turn 16 until October 16th. If you want to send her a birthday card, I'm sure she'd appreciate it. Comes out of WOGA Gymnastics, World Olympic Gymnastics Academy, and I would say a world-famous gymnastic club in the world of our sport. Produced Carly Patterson, Nastia Liukin, Olympic all-around champions, as well as numerous world team members, national team members, and world champions as well.
So interesting to see just how relieved everyone is as soon as they hop off the equipment. What was that like for you as soon as the routine was over?
Oh man, I felt so good. Like if I hit, you feel so good, and it's like all your nerves are gone, and then as you get ready to the next one, the nerves ramp back up. And you're like, why can't I just feel like I felt when I hit that routine and I got off the equipment? Brooke's score on the balance beam, 12.65. At a 7.95, and the execution score 8.0 or above on beam, and the execution score is a very good score in that category. Addison Feda now started the competition on bars with a solid performance there, only doing 2 events. She was the alternate at the Pan American Games earlier this month, and she is recovering a bit from that. Not injured, but just trying to make sure she is rested and ready to go for the U.S. Championships here in August.
Solid triple wolf turn. Wow, what a connection bonus there. It's always a great feeling to kick off your routine with no wobbles. Every time you see 3 skills in a row, you get an extra 10th bonus for that. So we may be seeing a lot of that tonight.
Oh, good fight.
She's got a save. I got to commend her for that. A lot of athletes would have just hopped off. It's worth it to fight for it and to stay on that beam, and that's just what she did. We heard a bell ding. That signifies she's got 10 seconds to get off the equipment. Finishes with a clean triple four.
Addison Feda's evening is complete. Just 2 events for her, and now she will refocus and get ready for the U.S. Championships. She's coached by her dad, Tony, and mom, Jen. There is Tony right there.
Look at this handspring layout. Great flight series. We're seeing nice straight legs, pointed toes. That wobble there.
Strong toes.
It's always nerve-wracking to be stuck on one leg when you're wobbling. Claws of a bird, that's how you stay on. That's how you get them. Little bit of a pike down at the end, but overall, aside from that wobble we just saw, that was a very nice routine.
Addison plans on being an Oklahoma Sooner after she graduates.
Come on, Josh!
Although she did say you know, the Olympics, you know, maybe we'll see. But,
I think it's to be determined.
to be determined, but as of right now, she's planning to go there on schedule. KJ Kindler, head coach there, certainly going to love having Addison on that squad. The defending national champions, by the way, the Oklahoma Sooners. Quite a dynasty they have going there. I asked Addison, I said, so do you listen to your parents? And she said, yeah, of course I do. And I said, good, I'm going to talk to your dad and ask him what he did to get you to listen to him, because I have 3 boys, and they don't like to listen to me at all.
Oh, she did actually. We had asked her if there were any advantages or disadvantages with having parents as your coach, and she said, as for advantages, they understand me mentally and physically, and know when to give me a break. And she said, disadvantages, there are none. How sweet.
Gotta love to hear that as a parent. I will say a little known fact about Addison Feta. Addison is a member of a summer swim team, which,
That she is.
you know, gymnasts, if you put a swimmer next to a gymnast, swimmers are tall, and she's not, you know, the typical swimmer body, but I do have to say she said she won the backstroke
She
in one
did
of her
say
events.
she won the backstroke. She said the butterfly is her least favorite, and sometimes
As it should be.
she doesn't understand why they do it with no music.
Addison Feta, 12.35 for that beam routine. 5.0 start and a 7.35 for her execution score. Shilese Jones next up. And we talk about handstand positions in gymnastics a lot, Lori, and especially on bars, hitting the handstand. If anybody knows how to hit a handstand on bars, I think it's Shilese, right?
Absolutely. She, last year on Simone's Gold Over America tour, did this handstand hold as a way to work up the crowd. I promise you, this is not a photo.
I mean, we need to make the show longer because this segment's going to run long if we keep the whole handstand. No, this is not a still shot. I'm not sure the last time I did a handstand that long on the floor, let alone on a... You ever done that?
No, not like this. And if you look really close, you can see her hands and her wrists working. That is the sign of a great ball worker.
And hang on, because this bar routine is big time. She's got some big releases and big connections.
Bit of a catch on her fingertips there. Let's watch this huge release. Stunning combination. Bit of a leg separation there. And here comes her dismount. She does front giant. Here we go. Nice bar routine for Shy Jones.
She has been a machine her entire time here in Salt Lake City. I don't think I've seen her try a skill that she has not successfully completed, and that she had that smile, but she wasn't overjoyed. It was just a day at work.
Yeah, we saw her doing Navievas at practice, laid out Tkachevs.
Yes, you mentioned it. She did that in the laid out position perfectly.
The height that she gets on the uneven bars is something to keep an eye out for, because we usually see this on vault, on floor, but she's got it on bars too. Small step back, but she flashes a smile there.
We told you there was greatness in Shilese Jones. We weren't wrong. We weren't lying. 2 down for her. 2 more to go. Shilese Jones with the biggest number so far in this competition on the uneven bar, a 14.5, a tough one that is going to be a tough one to catch. 8.2 execution, 6.3 difficulty.
That A2 execution is beautiful. We mentioned earlier, anywhere within the range of an 8.0 is typically what you'd look out for on bars and beam. So that 14.5.
Absolutely great. And that's the thing on bars. There's so many little areas where the judges can take all the handstand positions, how you catch your release, where are your hips when you catch that release, obviously the form breaks.
Even little things like adjusting your hand grip on the bar, that's a 10th deduction, leg separations. Your dismount being too close to the bar, another deduction.
You shouldn't want to get too close to the bar. That's dangerous.
No, it's happened before to me, and I'm sure it's happened to you too. That is not a fun place to be.
No, absolutely not. Leanne Wong is going to be competing on the bars for her next event. She's the one that was tied and now chasing down Shilese Jones's 14.5. They were tied again after the first rotation, each with a 14.4. Nola Matthews next to go here on the uneven bars. Started off the competition on vault with a 13 there. Sat in the 11th spot.
Something to keep an eye out for Nola Matthews on bars. She reminds me a lot of Madison Koshin, the way that her arms are completely extended the entire time. That's not a common thing you see, but it's what we want to see.
Madison
She
Koshin,
does that very well.
An Olympian and world champion on this event, so that's a very flattering comparison. And Nola has done some great things on this event at the DTB Cup in Germany earlier this year. She won the bronze medal on the uneven bar.
Kicking off her routine with an in-bar. Wow, what a combination! And even still, those arms are completely locked out. That allows her to really use the bounce of the bars and swing. Comes the dismount. Stuck landing from Nola Matthews. That was a breath of fresh air to watch.
Here's the thing about an athlete like Nola Matthews. She doesn't stand out, if you will, on vault, but you don't have to stand out on every event to be on the world team, to be on the Olympic team. She is outstanding uneven bar worker. You mentioned Madison Koshin. Why was Madison Koshin put on the Olympic team that she competed with? Most notably because of bars. And that is what you got to keep in mind when you're watching these athletes. They might not show up in the all-around standings, but Nola Matthews could show up on the world stage.
Stunning right into Rikna. And almost completely open up until the end. If you're watching this and you're looking at how to swing bars, she is a great example to keep in mind when you go back to practice.
Makes it look easy.
She does make it look easy.
I don't think it is, though.
No, I wish my bars looked like that.
Your bars were pretty good from what I remember.
Thank you, I'm proud of them, but this is a very specific type of style and swing that she has, and I hope she knows how much potential she has
You got it,
in the years to
Kate?
come.
She is known for that artistry and that presentation. You saw it on bars, but also definitely stands out on floor exercise. That's the event she'll finish the competition. Now, Leanne Wong, world all-around silver medalist in 2021, was the alternate on the Olympic team that same year. Just a couple months later, went back to Japan after having what I would say is a tough experience as an alternate, basically living in a hotel, and that's all you saw was the hotel and the gym, but got to go back, got some hardware, won that silver medal, but she wants more in elite competition.
Within the last year, she's done a year at University of Florida.
And
Something we're seeing more often, collegiate athletes coming back into the elite world.
And I love it. You know, you hate to think that you go to college and you can't come back. And what a year she had. She was one of the best freshmen in the entire country, All-American. Almost got that team national title with the Gators. Oklahoma just got them at the end. Here we go.
She had a bit of trouble with this in practice.
Wow! And you said a bit of trouble in practice. We didn't see her make one of those
No, we didn't.
in practice. And I tip my hat to her for going for it here. That was the best one I've seen her do
Same
since we
here.
got here.
Honestly, I truly thought she was going to be able to cash that. Look right here. Her hands are on the bar and then peel as she gets that momentum to keep moving forward.
Wow, and it looked like she had a good grip.
Right there.
She kind of regripped that right hand maybe and just couldn't quite.
But she
hold
keeps
on.
moving. Let's see how well she finishes the rest of this routine. Legs glued together. We don't see that often on those skills. Comes the dismount. That's beautiful.
Such beautiful gymnastics, though. You can see why she won that world all-around silver medal.
And once again, Classics is there to be able to test new skills, to try new things. Being able to do these new skills in practice is one thing, but when the pressure's on, it can feel like the skill is something completely new. That's what Classics is for, to try these things.
About as good as you can do a double layout dismount. And yeah, absolutely. I was happy to see her still go for it, even though she had trouble in practice.
Me too.
And she said that. We talked to her before the meet, and she said, look, I'm going to try some new stuff and get back in the swing of elite competition. She competed 15 times
Holy
as a Florida
moly.
Gator in one season.
And how many all around?
13 times in the all-around. I said, how many seasons of elite competition would you have to get to before you got to 15 competitions? She said, probably 2, at least, maybe more. But she did say that competing week after week really helped her ability to compete. If it can, she's already a great competitor, but just gave her that confidence, I think, that makes such a big difference in gymnastics.
There's a lot of performance anxiety in a lot of athletes, especially in women's artistic gymnastics, but we tend to handle these things very well. So when you have things like collegiate competitions to throw you in that situation over and over again, that's really going to help, especially if you're able to come back into the elite scene like Leanne Wong.
Still waiting for Leanne's score as the gymnasts move to their third event of 12.85 for Leanne Wong. We have a special guest coming to the booth when we come back. You're going to want to see who that is. Don't go away. Welcome back. We are in the booth and we have our special guest with us as Shilese Jones continues to lead the U.S. Classic here in Salt Lake City. And our guest is none other than Olympic medalist and world champion, and let me make sure I get this right, technical lead for USA Gymnastics. Please welcome Chelsea Memel. Chelsea, thank you for joining us. Tell us about your job, your new role, and what it entails.
I'm really excited for this role and this opportunity. I'm just really excited to help with the technical side of things. Knowing the code, being a judge for so long, I can bring, you know, that perspective of the judging side to the table and just to help kind of guide routine construction.
Within the gymnastics and all the athletes that you've seen so far, what potential do you see for the next quad and leading up to Paris?
I'm excited. I see a lot of potential. Obviously, there's room for improvement, but I think we're at a really, really good place, a really good starting point, and it's only going to go up.
So you mentioned helping on the technical side as a judge. How much is your also have being an athlete at the highest level help and maybe be an important ingredient as to why you're holding this position?
I think it helps. I think, you know, that was one of the things that they were also looking for, to have someone who's kind of been in so many different kinds of situations, you know, competing. And on that side of things, so I think I can bring a lot of perspective into the athlete like mindset.
You know, just last year we saw you competing at Classics, and now you're here again, but you're in a different position. I just think that's one of the coolest things. By the way, you're still one of my favorites.
That's not Classics, by the way. That is an Olympic Games. But that's got to be an unusual situation to be in. You were on the floor maybe with some of these athletes, and now you're in this role. And you also still judge. You just judged the Pan Am Games, second highest rated judge at the Games, by the way.
Incredible.
Thank you. It is. It was a really quick turnaround, a really quick transition, but I think it came at a good time. I had so much fun getting out there and competing again and doing gymnastics again at that level. It was so exciting, and I'm excited to be on this side of things.
So another thing that we've kind of followed you this year, and pretty cool how you're kind of bringing the world into what you're doing in the gym. The Chelsea Challenge.
Yes.
How did this start? And by goodness, how do you do some of these things that you do?
It's fun. Oh, the pistol spots. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's just so fun. No, I figured out how to work out and what works for me and what brings me joy and works for myself. That's my favorite video, me and Andriel. But
I adore that you find pistol squats fun. That's.
You did one with me yesterday.
I did. We held hands and we tried to do a pistol squat together, and I have the video, and my leg shakes on the way up. So it is official. Chelsea Memel is 100% stronger than I am.
Well, Chelsea just lied on national television. She said pistol squats are fun. That is not true.
It's true for her.
Chelsea, thank you so much for being with us. Good luck in your new role. We know you're going to do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We got a lot more gymnastics here in Salt Lake City. Can Shilese Jones get the all-around title? We're halfway through. Standings after the second rotation. Shilese Jones has taken a commanding lead on the field with that Leanne Wong mistake on the uneven bar. She has a 1.65 lead. Nola Matthews currently sits in the third spot with a 26.9, giving a little bit of a push to the world all-around silver medalist. That'll be interesting to watch that as the meet progresses into the second half.
I am curious what the all-around is going to look like by the time this competition's over.
And when you say curious, you mean from second place on down, because Shilese Jones has got a stranglehold.
I don't want to jinx anything, but I 100% agree with you.
2 events down for Shilese. Outstanding vault, outstanding uneven bars. Really, that is what jumps out to me right now as far as her performances. The balance beam the great equalizer always, right? Does the meet start until you get to balance beam, it feels like?
Sometimes that's exactly what it feels like. Going back to Shy Jones, though, what's fantastic about her gymnastics is that not only is there one event that we look at for her and we say, wow, she really rocks that event. We see that in all 4 events for her. So talk about a true all-arounder. She's got that wow factor for all 4, and that is not something we see often. I'm excited to see what she's going to show on beam today. Lots of difficulty for her. Something we're stressing would be the entrance, how we enter the beam.
Shilese Jones coming into her third event here now. A commanding lead in the all-around again, 1.65 over Leanne Wong. And the hurdle, that is the balance beam, though. It can always get anybody, but she has looked as solid as any gymnast this week here in Salt Lake.
Oh. That's a 1-point fall for Shy Jones.
And that is something that's been encouraged, and the value has been raised at those difficult mounts onto the balance beam. Not something Team USA has done a whole lot historically.
We should definitely acknowledge that standing Arabian she just did.
Oh, and
second fall. That's
Talk
definitely
about-
going to hurt the all-around score.
talk about having a mistake on beam and how hard is it to have a short memory and get back up there and focus.
Honestly, you gotta kind of wipe your memory of that ever happening. Otherwise, this unfortunate domino effect can happen where you make one mistake, you start making other mistakes, and it just leads into kind of, unfortunately, what we just saw here for Shilese on beam. But you just gotta refresh your brain and keep things moving. And that appears to be what she's doing. She looks a little shaky. She got that 10th bonus for doing 3 skills in a row. Her artistry is beautiful, though. Comes the dismount. See the height. Beautiful back handspring, double pike. Lots of air time. Unfortunate 2 falls for Shilese Jones.
And let's take a look at the first one. In her defense, this is a new skill. Like the other athletes here, she is trying some new things, and when you try new things,
Sometimes mistakes can happen, but again, this is exactly what Classics is for. To try these new skills. It's okay to make these mistakes. Of course, you don't want to do that, you know, on any competition, but this is where the debuts are.
And she knew she was off on that second one. She did not even fight it, and sometimes there's no fight to be had.
Yeah. But that was a stunning dismount. Way to end the routine. She does have floor exercise next, and that is a wow factor event for her, so hopefully she can kind of refresh her brain and keep things moving.
A moment ago, you may have heard the floor music in the background. Caitlin Rosen on floor exercise. Also out of Twin City Twisters Gymnastics, coaches Sarah Jancy and Steve Hafman. And she's got a big-time mount to open this routine.
Yes, her full twisting double layout on floor is quite a new debut for her. Stunning! She landed that like she's been doing that for decades. Beautiful double out last pass. If you notice her toes, she hopped back and stayed on her toes knowing that if she put her heels down, she would be out of bounds. That is something to keep an eye out for. Talk about air awareness. She has that down to a T. A very clean third pass. As she enters her fourth pass, you're going to see a lot of choreographed deep breaths here. Keep the endurance going strong. Finishes strong with a stuck double tuck last pass. This was a beautiful routine.
Jam-packed difficulty in those tumbling passes. Caitlin Rosen worked hard in that routine. Comes out of Texas, but like her teammate Levi, she moved from Texas to Minnesota, Levi from LA to Minnesota, and here she gets a 13.7 for that floor routine. Shilese Jones, disappointing beam routine, 11.5, and you can see where they got her, that 5.9 in the execution score. There's going to be a change atop the leaderboard here at the U.S. Classic.
Slight wobble there, but she keeps it moving. I'm seeing a couple form breaks, a couple flexed feet. But overall, even through nerves, she's going through with a hit routine. Let's finish strong.
Well done. So put yourself in Nola Matthews' shoes for a moment. I know she's not wearing any, but you just saw Shilese Jones, who everyone knows. She's been around. She's a veteran. She's a favorite here, favorite to make the world team. Then you have Leanne Wong ahead of you in the standings, and here's an opportunity for you to maybe take the lead over both of those athletes at age 15. How big a moment can that be?
I think at times it can put a lot of pressure, but once you're on the equipment, that thought has to leave your mind. You have to go back to what you're doing in practice and in training and just let your muscle memory kick in. And it seems like she did exactly that. Oftentimes you watch athletes ahead of you fall, and that can trigger a fall from yourself. Couple little tweaks, like some flexed feet, some form breaks right here. Maybe not a full 180 split, but once again, you have to commend her for hitting a full routine. Bit of a chest down on that landing. We like to see the chest match the equipment, so that way you're standing with great posture.
Come on, man, you
if your
got
chest
it.
is facing the floor, you're going to get a pretty hefty deduction for that.
Leanne Wong will be the next gymnast to go. And again, coming off a full collegiate season, has some of those elite skills, but certainly putting together elite routines versus college routines in such a short amount of time has got to be challenging.
Sure it is, but she did mention that all those competitions gave her a little bit more confidence when she's competing, so part of me wonders if that's going to transfer well, even though she's doing a bit higher level skills.
Nola scores a 12.5, so not a huge score, but that makes up a point on Shilese Jones. Now Leanne Wong, with a hit routine, you have to expect she will take that top spot alone.
Leanne's elegance on beam is just beautiful. I can't imagine them taking much artistry deductions on this.
Better than a 13.15 will move Leanne Wong into sole possession of first place.
And she is definitely capable of that. Stunning switch ring. We'll definitely get credit for that. Your back leg has to be above your head. Your head has to be bent all the way backwards. It can't be up towards the ceiling. It has to be all the way behind you. And she's done just that. When you watch Leanne Wong, you compare her to other gymnasts and you can tell that something's different. It's her execution, her pointed toes, her straight legs. She is cool as a cucumber on the balance beam. When you watch her, you're not stressed. You're just watching something amazing happen. Reminds me a bit of Kyla Ross in that sense. Here comes the dismount. Finishes strong with a beautiful 2.5 twist. Definitely finished it all the way around, so she'll get credit for that.
It certainly feels like more than a 13.15 by the look on Leanne's face. She seems to feel the same way. Alan Armanet, her coaches at Gage, the Great American Gymnastics Express.
Beautiful switch rings. A lot of times you won't see that head lay all the way back. The eyes will be kind of towards the ceiling, and that can get devalued very easily. So we don't see a lot of athletes doing switch rings because the judges can be very harsh on that, but Leanne does it beautifully.
She really has all the characteristics you want of a great all-around gymnast. She has the grace and the artistry that you talk so much about, but she also has that power. Don't deny, you'd think a lot of times that the very artistic gymnasts, and not always, but often, a lot of times they don't have that same power, but when you combine both, guess what you get? You get a world silver medalist, or maybe even a world champion, and I feel like Leanne is that athlete.
You get Leanne Wong.
And you get Shilese Jones, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
She is that same type of athlete, very special, obviously not the beam routine that she wanted to have, but you can see those similar characteristics between those two.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times we see the comparison between two athletes like Nastia Liukin and Shawn Johnson. Their styles in gymnastics are vastly different. Nastia is known for essentially being very elegant, long lines, smooth, flexible, and Shawn was just a powerhouse. She's tumbling on beams, she's doing some crazy stuff on the floor. So when you get to see a hybrid of athletes like those two, who obviously in their own right are of fantastic caliber, it's a joy to watch. You want the variety in gymnastics.
Have two more gymnasts yet to go here on the balance beam as we wait for Leanne Wong's score. Judging these days it's not a simple math problem, is it? I mean, it is a complicated formula, and once in a while it takes a little bit of time, but we have the score in 13.55. That is enough to move her into the top spot, but it is still close. It is anybody's meat to win between Shilese and Leanne, and maybe a couple behind them. But right now, Sienna Alipio from Midwest Gymnastics, same gym that Suni Lee, Olympic all-around champion, came out of up in Minnesota.
That was a stunning flight series, 3 in a row aerials, and she stuck it. Bit of a wobble on the dance there. The judges have a checklist for artistry in terms of posture, footwork, rhythm. Oh. That's a 1-point fall, unfortunately.
And this is a strong event for Sienna, so that is unfortunate. Was in 6th place coming into this rotation.
That was a really unique gainer full dismount. We don't see those very often. That was satisfying to watch, that dismount.
Sienna has plans to compete collegiately for UCLA. And there is her coach, Jess Graba. Coach of Suni Lee, Ali Lim in the background. Jess's wife, also coach of Sienna and Suni to that Olympic all-around gold medal. Jess's twin brother Jeff, actually the head coach at Auburn, where Suni Lee attended her freshman year. So keeping it all in the family, certainly been an incredible asset to the Auburn Tigers this season was Suni Lee.
Going back to Sienna's beam, she started off so strong. Look at this, no wobble. At the beginning of this routine, she had what we would call sticky feet, not moving at all. Wobble on the dance there. That one, I could tell you, she kicked herself for it.
She had that little smirk on her face knowing, did I really do that?
She was like, oh.
Ah.
That switch half can be quite a difficult skill. Having to start one way and turn in the air and still do your split and align it with the beam. More often than not, that split is not aligned with the beam and it causes you to tilt on either side or fall, just as we unfortunately just saw.
According to her coach, Jess Graba, he said that this is the plan right now to go through championships, which she is qualified for. But after championships, the plan is to move on from her elite career as of now. And we've seen that change, obviously, but that is currently the direction they are heading.
I do love the hop back and forth we're seeing between collegiate gymnastics and elite gymnastics. It's something that we saw in men's artistic gymnastics for so long. Men competing at national championships for their college rather than their home gym. And for the longest time in women's artistic gymnastics, we weren't able to do that. Typically, as soon as you start in college gymnastics, your elite career is over. But within the last few years, that has completely changed, and we're seeing athletes come back into the scene, just like Leanne after doing a year in University of Florida. And it's exciting. It means that the journey doesn't end if you don't want it to. Opportunities keep flowing in.
I think it's a mindset change, too. You know, I think it's a mindset for maybe the elite program a little bit, going, yeah, these athletes can go on to college and come back. But I also think gymnastics as a whole, you know, growing up in gymnastics, for the women has always been these petite gymnasts that have, and you have to be like that to be great, and that's not how it is anymore. You know, these athletes are grown adults and grown women, and they're showing that they are every bit as athletic as anyone else out on the floor, and I think it's outstanding.
Exactly, and I think a really important note is understanding that each gymnast naturally has a different body type. You cannot compare. One is not better than the other. Everybody carries different strengths, and they always should be highlighted. Everybody has something special in them.
Score for Sienna Alipio, 11.4 for that beam routine. Now concluding this rotation, Amelia Dizadore on the balance beam, also from Gage.
That back leg was quite bent, so unfortunately they will deduct that. I want you to keep an eye out on her ankles. I mentioned earlier that if you're seeing shaky ankles, it typically is a sign of nerves, and we're seeing that a lot from her. But even with those nerves, she keeps it moving. That left leg was a bit low, but no wobbles. That's what we like to see. As we heard the bell just rang, she's got 10 seconds to get off the beam. Clean round off double full. Bit of a hop on that landing. But overall, that's a hit routine. Something to be proud of.
Coming into that balance beam, Amelia was tied for 9th. Looking to move up. That is rotation 3 in the books. Leanne Wong is your leader. The Maverick Center in Salt Lake City, the U.S. Classic. The gymnasts are warming up for their 4th and final rotation. We'll have that for you when we come back. After 3 rotations here in Salt Lake City at the U.S. Classic, Leanne Wong gets the lead. 0.4 over Shilese Jones. Those two look to battle it out in the final rotation. They'll be on floor. Marissa Neal, after a great balance beam routine, moves into 3rd. Trying to qualify on all 4 events is Marissa Neal. She had only qualified on 2. We'll talk about that when she gets to floor exercise. Having a great day here. Shilese will be the last gymnast to go in this 4th and final rotation. She'll know exactly what she needs to do to overtake the young lady who walked right in front of the camera there, Leanne Wong. Now here we go with Marissa Neal. We mentioned her qualification for U.S. Championships. Coming into this competition, she had only qualified on 2 events, which is something that the women can do, but she has so far put herself in contention to qualify on all 4. She just needs a 10.85 here on floor exercise.
Kicks things off with a beautiful double Arabian to Sassone. That's going to give her 1/10 bonus.
Save.
That was Marissa Neal on the floor exercise.
What a save. When you're talking about that pass, 10.85 seems like it's automatic, but that save on that combination pass was unbelievable.
Front layout can sometimes be seen as a bit of a risk, simply because if you go internationally and you do that pass on a floor that's a bit bouncier than you're used to, that can really throw you off. But she had a nice save. The reason for that mess up, she was a bit over-rotated, but she saved it.
But this beautiful big full in back out. Here it is. Right. I mean, she had no business landing that on her feet. Over-rotated that 2.5 twist into the front layout, but savvy. She must have a little extra stickum on those heels, because that right there might be the difference between qualifying to the U.S. Championships in the all-around and not.
Truly, that could have been
in the all-around.
That could have easily been a 1/10 fall, and she fought for that. I giggle a bit because you and I caught that at the same time before she even landed her 2.5. We grabbed the table.
Yeah, we jumped out of our chairs a little bit. Certainly that is going to be above a 10.85, so for Marissa Neal, a big day for her. Al Fong and his wife Armene, the head coaches at the Great American Gymnastics Express in Blue Springs, Missouri, have done such an amazing job producing athletes over the years. Always seem to have someone on the national team or world team or Olympic team or all the above.
I mean, I feel like the list is endless between Brenna Dowell, Maddie Desch, Aaliyah Finnegan, Sarah Finnegan. I'm 100% missing many.
Taryn Humphrey, Olympian from 2004, I believe.
And obviously, the women on the current team now.
Courtney McCool as well. It was before your time a little bit, though. I think you were, Mike, 4 years old in 2004.
I was.
We were deciding whether you were actually
birthday.
alive. We're actually
Aw.
deciding if you were alive in my last Olympics. I don't think you were yet.
I think I just came into the
Here we go with Nola Matthews, 4th place coming into this final rotation. Marissa Neal at 12.0. She gets the score she needs.
That's going to be a 1-point deduction along with an out-of-bounds deduction. Her artistry is beautiful, though. Look at her smiling. One of the deductions the judges can take is expression matching style of music. I don't think they can take that from her. This is great. Finishes strong with a double back. Unfortunate fall, but the rest of the routine, she's got a lot of power in her.
Not the way she wanted to finish the competition, but showed some battle throughout. And obviously she will live to see another day here in 2022 as she will be competing at the U.S. Championships.
Yay! The triple full landed with her feet a little bit past shoulder width. I think they're going to take a 3/10 deduction on that.
Oh, and there's the trouble. Looked like it overdid that first skill a little bit, which made the second one kind of come in low.
Mm-hmm. Those connection passes can be ones that are a bit hard to save. If you get in a pickle, you can only do so much quick thinking. Lots of it is staying tight, but at the end of the day, you have to land those precisely, otherwise there will be a mistake.
Those combination passes kind of started back at the end of my career, and they ate me alive. Like, I curse those things at night still today when I go to bed. I'm like, connection passes, ugh. Again, Nola Matthews was in 4th place. Coming into this rotation with that mistake, does not appear that she will improve her standing. But as we say, there's always a lot of gymnastics to go until the last dismount is landed. Leanne Wong on deck.
Doing little hops, keep the muscle warm.
Had a chance to see Leanne at my camp a couple weeks ago, and she trained while she was there. Looked amazing. She was working a double twisting, double layout on the floor, I will tell you. Maybe she don't want me to say that, but it was pretty good. It was off the rod floor. It was off the rod floor, but I'll tell you what, man, she looks like she could do it.
I believe that 100%.
Nola Matthews, an 11.7 for her routine. And now here we go with your leader coming into this rotation, Leanne Wong.
Starting off with a huge double-double.
You know, an 11.75 for Leanne Wong in this routine will give her the lead over the athletes that have finished the competition so far. Obviously, Charlize Jones yet to go.
Incredible pike double radiant to Sassoon.
unbelievable ability to stay on her feet. I just about rolled my chair off the podium after that one.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was meant to be a front full, and she stopped at the half.
Regardless,
so,
that was incredible air awareness.
Yeah, talk about quick thinking. That is definitely something you need when it comes to those combination passes.
You can see Al Fong, her coach, in the background, give her a little smile. And they know anything she gets out of this competition today, it's a bonus because, again, she knows she has work to do. But the mistake there, unlike the other ones we saw, she was short coming in, short on that rotation, which caused her to lack rotation on the next skill. But it looked like she almost could have tweaked an ankle. She was so short, but to manage it, obviously she appears to be fine.
Yeah, that landing did look a little bit sharp.
Let's start with
usually you want to absorb that landing.
Let's start with the good.
That was stunning. The height on that was monstrous. My jaw dropped.
I think she should lay it out.
I think she should lay it out. I think she should. She can.
This is where you got real excited, Lori.
Look at how beautiful this is.
Stays in bounds. Yeah, let's look at what went wrong.
Yeah, it seems when you're connecting these skills, you have to be as tight as a pencil being dropped on the floor. If you even allow for a second the floor to soften up your legs to give, you're going down.
The best part of that was the fake smile she had when she turned around, because you know she wasn't happy about it. Leanne Wong set the bar. The second place gymnast, Shilese Jones, coming up.
Leanne Wong scored a 13.6 on floor. That execution score, a 7.9. which I think is incredible considering the routine we just saw. Not that her execution was bad, but that scramble she had could have taken a real dent out of her score.
A testament to what the rest of the routine looked like. And again, not her best, not perfect, but that 13.6 gets her into first place. Shilese Jones will be the last gymnast to go in this rotation. We'll talk about what she needs, but before that, moments ago, Sienna Alipio took the floor exercise. She was in 7th place after 3 rotations, a disappointing balance beam, an event she's very good at. Otherwise, she would be vying for a top 5 spot right now.
We don't see those very often. And I really enjoy the fact that I'm saying that a lot today. Beautiful wobble on that double wolf turn, but she saved it. Finishes off with a beautiful for handspring front full. Simple but clean, and there's always something to be commended for that.
Great finish to the competition for Sienna. That routine, a 12.2 for her. And there it is right there. 7.7 on the execution side, a 14.5 start value, or a 4.5 difficulty. We will see her at the U.S. Championships. Moving over to vault in this rotation, we're going to show you all the vaulters here back to back. This obviously has taken place already, but Caitlin Rosen started off the rotation on vault, and she made a big move with that huge floor routine we saw earlier, and this is where she continued her upward move in the standings.
Yurchenko 1.5, a controlled step at the end.
13.85 for that vault. Here's Brooke Pearson, same vault. Did step over that line, 1/10 deduction for going over that line with 1 foot. And then finally, the last one in this rotation, Lauren Little. Lauren was one of the other athletes trying to qualify into the U.S. Championships, but she unfortunately just barely missed out on getting the score you needed to get to the championships, unfortunately for her. Now Leanne Wong, she just gets to sit and wait and watch.
The sit and wait game is always something that kind of feels like pulling teeth. Either waiting for scores, waiting for the next event, waiting to rotate, waiting to start, of course.
What'd you do while you waited?
Usually I visualized my routines over and over again. I think I made myself a little crazy.
How many times did you make a mistake in your visualizations?
Often. Sometimes, no, honestly.
I know, I did
often,
too.
Sometimes I had to do it with my eyes open, because when I'd close my eyes, my brain, like my intrusive thoughts, would visualize me falling. So I had to do it with my eyes open and walk physically through it. Otherwise, it scared me.
Hugs all around for the Gage gymnast.
That's a beautiful leotard.
That is.
I feel the need to comment on that. We're seeing lots of rhinestones on everyone, but especially for Leanne's.
I tell you what, the leotard game is
very strong.
something to behold, because it has taken a step up over the last decade or so. Now Jocelyn Robertson, we saw her have an amazing start to the competition on vault.
She is a Florentine I have been excited to watch all day, truly. A true powerhouse.
Unfortunately, a tough time on even bars and balance beam, but she really shines on this event as well as vault.
Huge double layout first pass. The height she gets on this tumbling passes. Just a bit low on that double pike, but overall finish is pretty strong. The way she tumbles reminds me quite a bit of Shawn Johnson.
Aggressive tumbler.
Yes, she really just goes for it, holds nothing back.
8th in the all-around coming into this 4th and final rotation.
Let's take a look at the height here that she gets. The camera, you can't even see the floor when it pans up. Chest quite a bit down on that double pike. They're gonna take some hits on that, unfortunately.
And she never stopped in that routine, right from dance, right to tumbling, and big time tumbling as well. Opening with that beautiful double layout. Her day is now finished. As we wait for Robertson's score, there is one gymnast yet to compete. And it is Shilese Jones.
Her first pass, a 1.5 twisting double back. She hopes to compete this internationally and have it named after her. So it would be titled the Jones. The wow factor we see for Shilese on bars, on all the events truly, but especially on bars, that's exactly what you're going to see when you watch round 4. We have Jocelyn waiting for her score. High fives and hugs all around.
Jocelyn was a member of the Junior Pan Am Championship team in 2021, says that is one of her goals, to again compete internationally for Team USA. She gets a 12.7 for that Flora team. Finishes 6th in the all-around for now before Shilese goes. Shilese needs better than a 14.0, so that 14.05 will give her the win here at the U.S. Classic. It has not been a perfect competition for her. We saw the trouble on the balance beam. Leanne Wong, who is in the lead, had some trouble on the uneven bars as well. But if she can hit this routine,
I think a 14 is definitely attainable for her.
14 is absolutely a possibility. Sit back and enjoy one of the best.
Changed some of the tumbling, but it is beautiful nonetheless.
And what a finish.
She tumbles so high. There's a reason her Instagram handle is Shy Can Fly. So.
Shy can absolutely fly. And I think it's time to graduate Shilese Jones into the one name club. Like Madonna, Cher, and Beyonce. Let's just say Shilese, and the world will know who we're talking about.
So she did not end up doing the 4.5 twisting double back. Instead did a monster double-double, so...
A monster double-double is absolutely correct.
That stunning double layout second pass, we didn't see any bend in her hips.
And this is what you could hear while she was competing. These athletes all collectively cheering on their fellow competitor. Beautiful sight. I think it's enough.
I have my fingers crossed that it's enough. I also would not be surprised to see high 13s, but
I'm waiting for you to say a 13.975.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to manifest that, John.
And again, keep in mind, Leanne Wong on her floor routine with a 15.7 start value, scored a 13.6. Did have a fairly major break. Shilese, no major breaks, a few landing deductions. The artistry is in the eye of the beholder. That would be the judges for them to decide. But I gotta think the start value is going to be very comparable, and I feel like the execution was more than 0.4 better.
I think so. There's a part of me that questions a little bit those landings we saw.
So the score is in. And with a 15.5 start value, she doesn't get quite enough on the execution side. A 13.65 for Shilese Jones. She will finish in the second position. Leanne Wong is your 2022 U.S. Classic all-around champion. And who would have thought, after the season that she has had, the busy season of college, coming off a fall that involved an Olympic alternate, involved winning a world all-around silver medal. She's the Energizer Bunny.
Leanne can have it all between college and elite gymnastics, and she is proof of that.
We are going to take a breath, and we're going to wrap up this U.S. Classic on the other side. Here are are your all-around winners for this 2022 U.S. Classic. It is Leanne Wong with that 15.4, just 0.35 ahead of Shilese Jones. What a battle between those two. Looking forward to seeing that at championships. Caitlin Rosen from Twin City Twisters, great day for her as well. Marissa Neal punches her ticket to the U.S. Championships in the all-around, and Woga's Brooke Pearson rounds out the top 5. We are joined by the top 2 finishers in today's competition, Leanne Wong, Shilese Jones. Congratulations to both of you. Let's start with Leanne. Leanne, what a past 12 months you have had. If you were sitting back and somebody observing would say there is no way that she can come to this U.S. Classic and do what you did, how do you do it, and how good is this feeling right now?
I mean, it's been really fun just competing throughout college and then deciding I wanted to compete in Elite, so that was my decision, and this is what I want to do, so I'm just having fun with it.
So great first step, but, you know, Lori, what do you think you can expect, and what do you want to see from the world all-around silver medalist?
Honestly, Leanne, watching you was such a joy, and I am really curious to know what's next for you. I know, obviously, championships, but what are your goals for that meet?
Just taking this experience and just learning from my mistakes and knowing I have some work to do.
Well, congratulations. Let's move over to Shilese. Shilese, I know not the competition that you wanted to have. Beam did not go the way you wanted it to, but I tell you what, Lori and I have sat back this whole week and watched you do your thing, and we have been nothing short of blown away and impressed by you. Talk about what has brought you to this point and how you feel about your performance today.
Yeah, so training has been amazing, honestly. Just getting back in the gym and training the numbers to trying to do progress onto Worlds and the Olympics soon in 2024. So had a little mistakes on beam, but I'm excited with the overall performance.
Well, some great things, I'm sure, in your future, no doubt. And both of you, Leanne, Shilese, we are excited to see you continue this rivalry at the U.S. Championships, and I'm sure Team USA is looking at both of you going, thank goodness for you two. We're looking forward to a great World Championships as well. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back to wrap it up.
Angie's.
Welcome back as we conclude this 2022 U.S. Classic here in beautiful Salt Lake City. Lori, we talked about Leanne and Shilese as we came into the competition. Didn't necessarily go exactly as planned, but in the end, it was those two battling it out.
We did mention before the competition even started that Classics was a place to try new skills and to see how it feels to perform them under pressure. And I think what's wonderful is that we're seeing a lot of new skills here. The fact that nobody's playing it safe, especially at this meet, is something we should give them all kudos for.
So quickly, a lot of the names we'll see at championships weren't here, but can you give us your feelings on how the U.S. women look heading into World Championships?
Heading into World Championships, I think we're seeing a lot of really strong athletes, especially on floor. We're seeing a lot of vault finalists, which is not as common, but 2 vaults from 2 different families. That's a fun one to watch out for.
Nonetheless, it will be an exciting August and fall in the sport of gymnastics. We'll be back tomorrow with the men's event. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern on CNBC. And all the top U.S. gymnasts will be back in action for the 2022 U.S. Gymnastics Championships in Tampa, August 18th through the 21st on NBC, CNBC, and Peacock. Congratulations to Leanne Wong. For Lori Hernandez, I'm John Roethlisberger. We will see you all tomorrow.
See ya.